Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Noel and I review and unbox subscription boxes here on my channel. Today though, I have a limited edition box from a subscription that I review regularly here on the channel. This was the Summer Thrills box by Once Upon a Book Club. So it was a little bit more than their regular monthly boxes, which as I said, I also review. Those are $59.99. This one was $79.99 on pre-order. It was with a very highly anticipated hardcover book from Riley Sager, which is a really popular author these days. It was a little bit of a bigger box. By a little bit, I mean a lot. Like, this box is enormous and glossy and lovely. I don't really know what to do with it, but all of their boxes are fashioned to look like a book. And there were, I would say, like more gifts inside of it than usual. We usually get like 3 to 4 gifts, maybe a QR code with a musical, link to some song that goes along with the contents of the book. And then we always get our quote card, our bookmark, our commemorative sticker, and if possible, a signed bookplate. Those features were all inside of this particular special edition box, as well as the guide. This is what the guides look like. So this was the Summer Thrills box, and again, it was a Riley Sager book. It was called With a Vengeance, and it happens on a train, and it is, I kept forgetting that it took place like in the olden days, like right after the war, but it did. And then inside, as always, we have a conversation with the author. I don't know why in my head for a really long time I totally thought that Riley Sager was a woman. There are discussion questions, and there is a list of the gifts, the page numbers, and then on the back they did include Philadelphia Phoenix's world famous red velvet cake. The Philadelphia Phoenix is the train that is in the book, and so they did talk about the famous red velvet cake, so I thought that was kind of a cool recipe to include as an extra. We did get 5 gifts, like I said, and there was a QR code. Here is our quote card right here, and the quote says, "A life just like the train she's on can only surge forward." And then we actually got a letter from Riley Sager, which I hadn't read yet, so maybe I'll read that if I have a moment, an extra moment of time. Here is our nice bookmark. It has the same quote on it. We did get a signed bookplate, which again, very popular author right now, so that is really cool. One of the perks of working with Once Upon a Book Club, just because they are pretty big, so they are able to work with different publishing houses and of course the authors themselves. Here is the collectible sticker. They're always these little hexagons, so you can put them on different things where you collect them, like water bottles or posters, what have you. Here is our book. So pretty hefty, nice big hardcover. It does have the Once Upon a Book Club sticker on it. I did enjoy it. I was just going to show you what the stickies look like. For the most part, they look like this when you open up your gift. Occasionally there is a QR code, and that was the case this time. Let's see. For example, there's a QR code for a Spotify song. That time it was like the song that was playing on the train. Someone was playing it, maybe they were playing it on the piano. I think they were playing it on the piano. But anyway, let's get into our gifts. So what I will do is I will basically tell you, or I will read the passage to you, and then we will open up the gift together. If you are interested in anything from Once Upon a Book Club, these boxes are not sent to me for review. On occasion, I will sign up and request a PR box, but I'm not always selected for those. So for the most part, I buy these boxes. But when you use my code, it definitely helps me in terms of getting a little bit of referral credit so that I can keep subscribing and keep sharing these boxes with all of you. So my code is HiNoel10, and that will save you 10%. I'll leave that information for you in the description box below. So one of the fun things about this particular box is we actually have a book club in our private Facebook group. So the private Facebook group is called the Nobot Nook, because viewers of this channel are called Nobots. Long story, I can tell you another time. And then we have like a subset where we run our book club, and Priscilla is so great. We'll choose a book for the quarter, and then we'll have basically, we'll read the book over a period of 3 to 4 weeks with discussions in the Facebook group every Sunday usually, and then we usually end with a live stream with Priscilla and myself and then people in the chat. This time around we had already kind of selected, because we always like to base it on a box that comes with contents that go along with the subscription or the book. So earlier this year we did a Once Upon a Book Club, a limited edition box. We did a Piece and Pages box. We are currently doing a literary book club box. Classic Emma, and we have already selected the box that we're going to use for Q4, which is The Wordy Traveler. I actually just opened a Wordy Traveler box like 2 days ago. So if you didn't see that video on the 3rd, check it out. So it's not for this quarter, but for next quarter. But because Emma is a classic, and I know some of our readers are having a little bit of difficulty with it, we also wanted to have like a fun summer read, and this definitely fit the bill. So we did like a little bonus read along where it was just like a separate chat, but it was hard because everybody kind of blazed through it. For me and some other of the folks in our book club, the first beginning part where we're introduced to all the characters, which is like a necessary evil for this kind of book, you know, it's like a game of Clue where you're trying to figure out who is the culprit, but you have to kind of learn everybody's characters, and there's only so much character development that you can do with all of the characters. That part was a little bit slow, and then it sped up and it was a really quick read, so I was a little bit behind in the read along, so I was trying not to see spoilers. But what I'm really interested in now is going back and looking at it for those who did purchase the book box, and what they thought of the gifts and how well they went along with the book. So we usually have, like I said, 4 books for the year. This time around we kind of did like 4.5 because we did an extra read along with this particular book box, which is okay because last year we only had 3, so kind of worked out. All right, so this is actually our 3rd year already doing our book club, which is pretty awesome, you guys. We do really fun things on this channel. Okay, so let me go ahead and read the blurb for the book, and then we'll get into our passages. I don't know if I'll have time for the letter from Mr. Sager, just because, you know, there's 5 gifts. So it says, one train, no stops, a deadly game of survival and revenge. In 1942, and I kept forgetting that it was 1942 because I didn't feel like they talked with that kind of language, but you know, train travel was actually like a thing then. So I should have kept remembering, but I didn't. 6 people destroyed Anna Matheson's family. 12 years later, she's ready for retribution. Under false oh, so it was 12 years later, so in 1954. Okay, still didn't feel like the 50s to me. 12 years later, she's ready for retribution. Under false pretenses, Anna has lured those responsible for her family's downfall onto a luxury train from Philadelphia to Chicago, an overnight journey of 13 hours. Her goal? Confront the people who've wronged her, get them to confess their crimes, and deliver them into the hands of authorities waiting at the end of the line. Justice will at last be served. But Anna's plan is quickly derailed, haha, by the murder of one of the passengers. As the train barrels through the night, it becomes clear that someone else on board is enacting their own form of revenge, and that they won't stop until everyone else is dead. With time running out before the train reaches its destination, Anna is forced to hunt the killer in their midst while protecting the people she hates the most. In order to destroy her enemies, she must first save them, even if it means putting her own life at risk. So it's like, she does kind of go back and forth throughout the book where she's like, I really wish I could kill these people. And then she like imagines strangling them or stabbing them or doing all these terrible things to them. And then she's like, oh no, I have to do the right thing and deliver them to the authorities and like have them suffer in that way. So sometimes I found it a little bit annoying the way she was like, I was like, either kill them or don't. Like, why wouldn't you be sort of happy that these people that you really feel like ruined your life, like they kind of got what was coming to them? Like, are we that sad about it? I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was a fun, thrilling, twisty read. And I actually thought the gifts, I just opened them up right before this unboxing. I thought they were pretty good for Once Upon a Book Club. Not bad. There were some things that could have been a little bit better, but for an $80 box where, you know, like the book itself, just because it was a recent release, is $30, so $50 for the other stuff that we got, and the experience itself, pretty cool. And we got the signed bookplate, which is kind of awesome also. All right, so let's go ahead and start reading the passages. Actually, you guys, let's have a secret password. So when you come across a secret password in one of my videos, you want to enter it along with your contact information in the Google form that is linked for you in the description box below. You do have to be 18 years or older. You do have to have a Canadian or US address. Canadians, I do need a little help with the shipping because it's so expensive these days. Or you can just choose to get like a $25 like PayPal gift certificate or card. And you do have to be subscribed to my channel, of course. It doesn't have to be publicly, but I will verify with you via email. Basically about 5 days into the following month, because there's like anywhere from like 8 to 10 secret passwords throughout the month. They're not in every single video. And each one of them counts as an entry. I will use a random number picker to select a few winners to receive mystery boxes. I send out anywhere between 2 to 10 of those every month. Just items from some of the different boxes that I review here on the channel, both ones that I receive for review and ones that I pay for. It's my way of saying thank you for watching my videos, and it is in no way affiliated with YouTube or any of the boxes that I open here on the channel. It's just something we've been doing for the last 2-3 years, and it's a really fun way to encourage you to watch the videos in their entirety. So today's secret password is going to be train, because this all takes place on a train. All right, so our first gift was on page 73, and this was what necessitated the box, and you can see it's like redacted writing. I thought that was kind of a cool sack that they gave us. You could use that as a shoe bag. Nice reusable thing. Let's see. By now, Sal has the lid lifted fully. Inside the briefcase is a sheet of papers folded into quarters. Sal opens it to full size, revealing a blueprint. "What is this?" she asks everyone and no one. Judd Dodge reaches over her shoulder and snatches the blueprint from her hands. "It's my design for the locomotive. The real one. The one that..." We can't hear anymore. So, is it a blueprint? Is it a briefcase? I don't know. It's soft and squishy. It's kind of a very Once Upon a Book Club interpretation. So it's not a briefcase. It's a laptop case. I did see some comments in our little private chat where people were like, "Oh, Noel's gonna love the color of Anna's briefcase." So it is a very pale pink, like blush. But as you can see, even on camera, it really just looks like ivory or cream. So even though I am not a fan of pink, you can kind of see it a little bit more there when I hold it close up. But from far away, to me, it just looks cream. It's pretty nice. So faux leather handles, obviously. Nice satin finish. This is a zipper pouch out here where you could put some of your accessories like your charging cables, etc. And then we have the nice gold zippers, 2-zipper direction here. Let's see, is this not going to open for me? Oh, there. And then inside they just put some foam in there, which I can get rid of now. But it's pretty good. We do have some folded up blueprints, but we have a few slip pouches here, a bigger one and then 2 smaller ones. This one obviously for like a pen, and then smaller other electronics. And then a big slip pouch on this side where you could put some documents in there. And we do have a shoulder strap. I actually thought, like, if it had just been this champagne color all around, I would have been way more excited. I mean, I'm a little bit nervous about the light color, even though it does feel like that kind of material that should wipe clean. I would have preferred like maybe a navy would have been great, but in terms of Once Upon a Book Club, they give us a lot of pink things, and this is not an egregious pink to me. I will probably hold on to this because I think this is one of the nicer things that we've gotten from Once Upon a Book Club. I also just bought a new laptop, which I am traveling with quite a bit, and it is very much overheating. I'm very unhappy with my laptop purchase in the store that I bought it at, but that's a different story for a different time. But here they did, it's not folded into quarters, but they did kind of give us a, you know, train locomotive blueprint, which I thought was like a fun little detail that they included. But overall, I thought this was a pretty good gift for Once Upon a Book Club. Like, I feel like you could easily price this at, you know, like at least $20, like at least $19.99 on top of the $30 book. We're doing pretty good on our value so far. Probably even more, you know, if it was made by a name brand. So then we had that page 88 with the QR code where there was some piano music. I'm going to skip through that because we still have 4 more gifts to go. The next big one was going to be on page 114. 114, also kind of a bigger box. So they always print up nice packaging for us. I went ahead and opened this. This was kind of a 2-part gift. So let's see. It says, "He was poisoned," she announces. "You sure about that?" Seamus says. "Not 100%, but I've drunk enough martinis in my life to know they don't smell like this. Someone put something toxic in Judd's drink." "Told you it was murder," Lapsford says with smug satisfaction. I was trying to like talk more like a 50s movie. So we open it up, fun detail, some blood splatter there on the inside, even though this was a bloodless murder. And we did get a martini glass. I thought this was an interesting choice for them to give us a metal version, just because I do think it's kind of fun and like a modern take on it. It's not what they would have obviously had on a train in the 50s. It makes sense in terms of breakage, but in this case, I would have probably wanted a set. I probably would have wanted a pair. It is a little bit nicer than I thought at first. I thought it was going to be a really thick rim. It's a little bit thinner than I thought. And then what's also really nice is they did include the black glitter rimming sugar so that you can be fancy and do a rimmed martini glass that's, you know, you can pretend that's the poison. So I thought that was pretty cool. I think this is neat that it wasn't just a traditional cheap glass, because we have definitely gotten like cheap champagne glasses and stuff like that from Once Upon a Book Club in the past. So I appreciated it, although for me, because I don't drink a lot of martinis. Well, I do drink martinis by myself. My husband's not a martini drinker. It just seemed like an odd thing to have as a solo item, but I'm weird about my drinkware. All right, the next one was on page 147. So we had three gifts in the 100s, 147, 157, and then not the last one until 331. I usually prefer when they spread things out a little bit better. So on page 147, let's see, we have like one of these little sticky notes, which usually they don't do the little sticky note unless it's right at the bottom of the page, but they did this time. You're just going to hear a bunch of names, and because you didn't read the first like 100 pages where they were introducing all the characters, it's not going to mean a lot to you. But that said, I don't think there's any major spoilers in these passages. So you well, this one's a little bit of a spoiler, but if you think you're going to read the book, maybe skip this part, skip like a minute ahead. Reggie acknowledges the advice with a nod. Thank you. I'll do exactly that. Hopefully you won't see or hear me again until we reach Chicago. After Anna leaves, he follows orders and locks the door. As for Anna's other piece of advice, staying put, well, that one will go unheeded, because Reggie will need to leave his room very shortly. Back at his overnight case, he removes a red pen and presses its tip to the first name on the list. I won't read the name to you, so you don't know. We got this little guy for page 147, and it is, as you probably guessed, a red pen. I did think this was kind of goofy, so they sometimes include little extra like tags and stuff, and we actually got a piece of cardboard that tells us it's Reggie's red pen. Kind of unnecessary, but it's Reggie's red pen. So normally when you get these, there is like a little tip on them, and it was red, and I was curious to know if it was red ink. Like the editor in me would love a pen with red ink in it so I can mark things up. Not that I get to edit things on paper these days, but I went ahead and pulled that off, and then I did go ahead and test it out. It has a very nice, smooth, like gel pen feel to it instead of like a ballpoint, which I always feel like are a little bit rumbly, if that makes sense. But it's a really smooth, nice writing pen, but it is black ink, not red. But still, I don't know, this felt very train-like to me, just the red and the shininess of it. All right, we have two more gifts. The next one came just 10 pages later. Like I said, it was on 157, and then we didn't get another one for over 150 pages more. On page 157, what happens? Let's see. We have another one of the small sticky notes, and we have a tiny little wrapped gift for this one. Let's see. Let's see. Seamus reaches into the pocket and removes a small pillbox Reggie Davis never got the chance to find after being spooked by his revolver. For that, Seamus is grateful, because it spared him a lot of explaining. With still trembling hands, he lifts the box's lid and peers inside. Resting on the bottom are several pills, chalky and white. Seamus counts them. Right now, there are 5. Satisfied by the amount, he snaps the box shut and returns it to his pocket. He knows that earlier in the night, the number of pills had been 6. So, you've probably guessed, we did indeed get a pill box. So let me unwrap this pill box, as you can see. And then they actually, wrote a passage from the book on the box. So lots of nice little details that Once Upon a Book Club does that add to the experience. But in the end, it's not like a box that you would necessarily hold on to. I thought this was actually pretty cute. I have started to be of the age where it's nice to have little receptacles, not necessarily for pills, but for earrings or all kinds of little things to have. I found it interesting that it was a keychain, honestly. I did like This doesn't look like the kind of pillbox that Seamus, that character, would have. It's a little floral and feminine for him. I would probably actually take the keychain part off of it because I would want to tuck it into my purse, and I feel like that ring makes it a little bulky, but it is just your traditional pillbox. It snaps open. It's got a nice little mirror, and then it has 3 divided spaces for your pills or sundries, and it's got that nice satisfying click when you close it up. And then finally, I will say for me, this was probably the most disappointing. I honestly felt like the gifts in their value and my satisfaction went from the briefcase and that interpretation to the martini glass, and then we had the pen, and then with the pillbox, and then this one, just because of what they actually gave us, their interpretation of it, it was a little disappointing. Still good, but the least disappointing. Let's see. Seamus removes her father's silver locomotive pin from his pocket. With extreme gentleness, he leans over and attaches it to the front of Anna's dress. "This belongs to you," he says. Seamus then kisses her on the cheek, stands, and without another word, exits the front of the car. So, in my mind, Once Upon a Book Club, a little bit notorious for their jewelry and its quality, but I thought a silver little locomotive pin, super easy. But instead of a nice, dainty, all silver pin, they gave us this chunky enamel pin, which I know a lot of people are super into collecting enamel pins. It looks like a decent quality. I think it's metal. It might be metal or plastic, but it feels like metal because it's a little bit weighty, just little like cloche backing. But I was like, oh, I kind of wanted like a cute little demure 50s or even earlier than that, like 20s feeling train pin, like a small one. But this one is like colorful and big and bulky. So I was just, because she talks about that as like a little talisman, so I really wanted like a cute little one. But you guys, let me know if you've read the book, what you thought about it. Let me know what you thought about the gifts. Overall, for a limited edition box, I actually thought this was one pretty good in terms of the value and the interpretations, and I enjoyed it a lot. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you soon in my next unboxing.